applause.
Good afternoon. I'm here to say that in this work, the United States will continue to be your partner. 5 years ago, I pledged here that America would remain the global leader in development, and the United States government, in fact, remains the single largest donor of development assistance, including in global health. In times of crisis, from Ebola to Syria, we are the largest provider of humanitarian aid. In times of disaster and crisis, the world can count on the friendship and generosity of the American people. And I profoundly believe that many of the conflicts, the refugee crises, the military interventions over the years might have been avoided if nations had truly invested in the lives of their people and if the wealthiest nations on earth were better partners in working with those that are trying to lift themselves up. We have to learn from the past to see where we succeeded so that we can duplicate that success and to understand where we've fallen short and correct those shortcomings. And we start by understanding that this next chapter of development cannot fall victim to the old divides between developed nations and developing ones. Poverty, growing inequality exists in all of our nations. And all of our nations have work to do, and that includes here in the United States. As more countries take ownership of their HIV/AIDS programs, the United States is setting two new bold goals. Over the next 2 years, we'll increase the number of people that our funding reaches so that nearly 13 million people with HIV/AIDS get life-saving treatment. And we'll invest $300 million to help achieve a 40% reduction in new HIV infections among young women and girls in the hardest hit areas of sub-Saharan Africa. And I believe we can do that, the first AIDS-free generation. Perhaps because this is now my 7th year of addressing the General Assembly, I tend to be more blunt. Along with the gray hair, I'm becoming more likely to speak my mind. So indulge me when I say that we will never achieve our goals if we do not squarely confront several insidious threats to the dignity and well-being of people around the world. No matter how much hard work is done by development agencies, no matter how large the donations and commitments that are made by donor countries, if we don't take care of some other elements of development, we will not meet the goals that we've set. When ethnic and religious minorities, or people with disabilities, or people of different sexual orientations are discriminated against or can't access education and opportunity, that holds all of us back. And I have to say, I do not have patience for the excuse of, well, we have our own ways of doing things. I understand. We understand that there is a long tradition in every society of discriminating against women. But that's not an excuse for taking a new path in order to make sure that everyone in a society has opportunity. It is no coincidence that half of the people living in extreme poverty around the world live in places afflicted by chronic violence and conflict. But the world's poorest people will bear the heaviest burden from rising seas and more intense droughts, shortages of water and food. We will be seeing climate change refugees.